So this is going to be a video on more diving into the masculine part of my mindset, or what I'm trying to lift out of myself, and why I think it would be more beneficial in those situations. So this is a video series on how I'm going to reach a perfect life of happiness and I had so many videos now I can't even remember how to say it. Happiness and resistance. And when you perfectly blend the two, you can have a moment of bliss multiple times, or if not all day. And I just feel like that's kind of like the heaven on earth, and that's kind of like the best way to feel it. For you to demand things in your life and you to accept them, I think is more of a masculine way of thinking. When you're conquering, or you're trying to fight, or you're trying to like take over something, or you're trying to win, it's usually more of like the masculine mindset. And then the opposite would be more of like kind of just understanding and loving and teaching and kind of being at one, or new life, where the masculine mind is more of like a left brain logical thinker, in the sense of stuck at a central standpoint all times. So masculine in my perception, and this is why everything is based on my world and based on what I have seen and what I have interpreted, has always been much more of like a logical left brain thinker in my world. And that's good and bad, because if there was a person that was mainly left-brained, then it would be a very good balance to have somebody that would be the opposite. So when you're one strong thing, and then whenever you're more likely to be that one strong thing, and then you let it flow, it may be more beneficial. So I want to be able to flow my masculine thinking and my masculine energy where it needs to be and when it needs to be, as opposed to because on plan for the benefit of my goals, right? So the masculine energy is being tailored to my goals, and I want to make sure that I'm also not overusing it in areas that would be hindering my goals, because it would be causing 4 stages of a thought. The fourth stage of the thought could be altered because someone's thinking something about my masculinity being something. Sometimes it's too overbearing if it's too much, in the sense of it becomes out of balance, just like everything else. I don't think if you wanted to look at masculinity as only being men, and there's one man out there that he's only masculine and he's the most masculine you could possibly think of, and he's the most extreme masculine case, I still don't think that he's 100% masculine. I think there's at least 1 to 10% feminine, and it is, you know what I mean? It's like it's a yin and a yang, and it's a balance thing, and it's a spectrum. So with that being said, I think that you can utilize each side of those resources to your advantage. And the masculine part can be more logical, or more straightforward, or more cold, more heartless, less oriented on time and feelings, less oriented on certain things, and just more take and more dominant, more me, more I'm centered on me, but yet also I'm the one responsible to take care of this. And then the other feminine side of it could also be similarly described in a lot of those situations, if you wanted to think about them that way. But I usually think about them all in the same benefits. However, it would be instead of like the masculine side of it, this is my responsibility. I would think of it on the feminine side, that I have the ability to make this happen. So as a man, I would try to find a way, like as my masculine side, I would try to find a way to go at the situation with force and try to make it happen by manipulation of the variables of the matter. And then if I wanted to think with my feminine way, I would try to empower the environment maybe to change on its own, as opposed to trying to force it to change. So I just feel like the feminine energy is more of like a create and a nurture and a like a work together kind of feeling. And then the masculine side of the brain is much more of like a disciplined, straightforward, it has to be this way, and we're sticking to this because it's what works and it's always works, and if we go off the plan at all, it'll possibly blow up in our faces, and we're not taking any chances. I don't care if it's a little bit off from what we really want and it's a little bit more rigorous and a little bit more difficult. We're doing it now because that's what we're supposed to do. And then there's a safety to that aspect. But then the idea of the feminine part of the brain, which was always just safety and wellness and wanting everything to be working perfect. So if they're balanced, it can work perfect, because then the masculine brain can understand what the feminine part of the brain would want so that it can protect it, stay disciplined, but also, like I said, disciplined, educated. Everybody, both sides need to be educated, and then open-minded, right? So if you look at it like your feminine side of the female side of the mind wants to think more open-minded, because it's more of like an inclusivity, loving, nurturing kind of thought process, and then the extreme would be disciplined. Then right in the middle would be educated, and when you're educated and you're able to balance both 1 and 3, you're able to fully become a master of your environment and your situation. And obviously everything, like I said, is just generalities and what I'm seeing, and every situation is going to be different. So you would want to tailor that extreme to there or to there. And then on top of that, don't even take any advice 100% at all on anything, because the words that I'm thinking, that I'm meaning, could very well mean something completely different to you. And whenever you try to put your definition on my word, you're necessarily saying that, like, you know, I'm meaning something that you are understanding me to mean. And that is obviously my fault, right? Because I'm the one that spoke those words, so I'm now responsible for saying those words. And that's why I tell you to comment down below and like and dislike and then all those other things, so that way hopefully I don't keep on going spitting out stuff that's just horrible and hurting people and making it more and more difficult for them to live their life. My idea, I only want to open up the idea, and then for people to look back at what they were told from their parents and go, you know what? Those are the things that I need to stick true to. I need to stay more disciplined to this. I need to stay more disciplined to that. And I can educate myself on all the other possibilities while still being disciplined, and then moving. And this is the masculine brain. This is like, I'm going to plan. I'm going to make sure things in my life. So now you're treating your future self like this future person or this other person, and you're able to look at everything very logically, very linearly. And the idea of today and tomorrow and this and that, you're going to feel upset tomorrow. You're going to feel this and that. But you know what? You got to just do it anyways. Discipline. Push through, man. Push through. Just keep going. Keep going. Do what you need to do. And that's kind of that masculine mind. And the other mind is part of it. And this is what's very difficult for me to understand, because my arms and all that, and my size. Defending yourself, right? I mean, the masculine brain is the only part of the brain that's there to physically defend yourself and get angry and get mean and get like, just like punch and hit and kick and scream and I don't know, whatever else you have to do to actually defend off someone. And it obviously is the biggest, heaviest warriors are all men. So that idea of how do we harness that power, you know, and obviously someone that's a male may start out on the spectrum of being able to, but there's some women that are just like crazy warriors. So if you think about it, it's just literally where they started, and they started out maybe where another man started, and da-da-da-da. So it's very interesting how masculinity works and how anybody can harness it, and it's just an energy, it's just a thought process, it's just basically a series of neurological links that you're able to tap into because you have connections to them. So it's just like, where did you start? Where do you want to be? Where can you end up? How do you change those neurological links? And then the only thing we can't do is change our biology. So, that's the only thing that we physically ourselves cannot do. So if we're able to change all those other things and then figure out what we got to do to work together with other people to make all of those things happen the way that we need in our lives through a comfortable series, then it's like we're masters of our own existence. We're masters of our own destinies. We're able to take what resources that we were given and put them forward into something that is beneficial to us in the future. And sometimes, we don't need to put forth what we don't see benefiting us. So if something about that's the kind of the logical thing about it too, is you can master your own destiny. You cannot put forth the parts that you're vulnerable about, and you can put forth the things that are really going to be benefiting your case and benefiting your story. So if it means dressing a certain way, or if it means acting a certain way, or if it means walking a certain way, talking a certain way, that benefits your case. And I'm not saying like, oh, you should make sure that you're being as manly as possible. No, actually, if you're thinking as masculine as possible and you're thinking about how to conquer your destiny by being, taking care of it and taking charge of it, that would mean that you don't care how other people are taking what you're wearing or doing. You would be wearing it specifically because it would be benefiting the thought processes on everybody else, right? So, meaning a lot of people are like, oh, I'm kind of scared because Deborah over there is going to be knowing that I don't normally dress like this, and that I'm only dressing like this to make people think this one thing. Well, actually, Deborah can just go shove it, because I want them. If there's 20 people and me dressing more this way would cause them to think this way, then that's more beneficial than me worrying about what Deborah. I feel like it's more feminine for me to worry about what Deborah's thinking. So if me dressing more feminine benefits the 20 people, then the masculine mindset of that is that I'm going to take charge of my existence and my destiny, and I'm going to dress the way that I'm going to dress so that the 20 people think what they're going to think, and it's going to benefit my story than what Deborah, who knows the different story, would be. And that to me is the most logical way, because you're only focusing at that point on what is benefiting your future, what's benefiting your existence. So I know it sounds convoluted, it may sound however you want to take it based on what you understand of what is working and doesn't work with nature and against nature, but what works in your experiment and what works in your life and doesn't consider the idea of sustainability and the ability that everybody has to be able to repeat and do the exact same thing that you're doing. So if everybody in the entire world can repeat and do what you're doing, then why can't you keep doing it, right? If every single human being in the entire world can do exactly what you're doing every single day, exactly how you do it, why can't we all do it? You know what I mean? No problem. That would be the idea of the masculine mindset and where you want to come from a logical standpoint to create things to happen the way that you want them to happen without any emotion or any feeling, and just your own will. But if you like this video or you hate this video or you agree with it or you disagree with it or you think it's awesome or you think it sucks, you think I should never post something like this again, please let me know. This video is, like I said, is mainly for myself. I don't know if I even mentioned that in this one at all, that I'm just kind of trying to put out my thoughts into these videos so that I can later look back on them and kind of understand them more than just text on a screen. And I'm going to keep improving the video quality as the videos go on more and more and more. And Yeah. I love everybody. Thank you. Have a good day. Have a good night.